Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our lesson lesson three. Today lesson will go through LO3. As a couple of you know me, my name is Anjum Sattar. Please, if you have any question, drop me email anjum@ukeversity.co.uk. During our lesson one, we discuss about different sort of software, how we can use them in accounting effectively to make the decision and how we can record the business transaction. I discussed with you double entry bookkeeping. I shared with you the handout double entry bookkeeping as well. Okay, during lesson two, we discuss about 5 professional code of ethics and those are impact on businesses. And today is lesson three, which will go through understand the need of accounts to work ethically and legally with all the stakeholders. That's the key, will be in our lesson, which is lesson three. Okay, so please, if you have any question, any point which you think need to discuss, please, you can drop me email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So we'll start our lesson. Okay. Anybody, any question before starting? If you have, please, you can ask. So we'll go through. Okay. So today lesson key focus will be understand the need of accountant to work ethically and legally. So what is the difference between ethically and legally? So we have, when we say legal, so ethics are the moral principle. So what are the ethics? Ethics are moral principles. So we discuss about 5 professional code of ethics, such as, so to remember easily, we can say PPCIO, which is the abbreviation of popular people chat in office or office. So some people are very popular, they carry on chat in office. Professional behavior, always we need to behave professionally, unbiased, not do anything is conflicting. Professional competency and due care, which is mean up-to-date knowledge. We have to do up-to-date knowledge, yes, which we have to. Third is confidentiality. We always have to keep the data is confidential according to GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Then we have integrity with the I. Integrity means honesty. We're supposed to be honest in our affairs, and O is the objective. Yes. So that's the key really we need to be focused on. And these are the professional code of ethics, and those are the moral principles. Then we have a criminal like money laundering. So if you not fulfill GDP, let's say we go to the first legislation, GDPR 2018. If you don't fill Health and Safety Act 1974, if we don't fulfill these, these leads to crime. If you don't fulfill any legislation, that leads to the criminal. Yes, this is a criminal activity. So we have to make sure we fulfill all the requirements those set. Anybody, any question? Okay, we'll move to the next. Okay, today lesson key indicative content, what we're supposed to go through. We'll go through money laundering legislation. If you don't follow those, it can be leads to up to 14-year imprisonment. We have different stakeholders. Stakeholders mean anyone who has any interest in the business is called stake. So stakeholders, they have interest. So we have to fulfill their interest, and we have to work in the best interest of the stakeholders. So that's really we need to like employee, they want good salary, management want more bonus, customer want good service, cheaper price. So we need to be look around external, internally within the company, externally outside. HMRC want fair share of the tax, and we have a regulatory bodies which is like financial reporting council. We have to follow those standards. We have a consultative committee of accountant. Those follow give standard. We have a chartered institute of management accounting, which is SEMA. We have a code of practice, and we have a combined code of accounting boards, which we have, so we have to look around regulatory framework, and we have, these are financial reporting. So these are all the codes of action, could the application of the code of ethics, and we have to look around the fundamental to uh, uh, reduce the conflict of interest. Really, conflict, like uh, it can be intimidation, like self-interest. I'm recommending things, for the sake of self-interest. That can be, as a professional accountant, we shouldn't. So we need to be working the best interest of the wider interest of the public and the stakeholders. That's really we need to be. So first we have assessment criteria LO3. Understand 3.1. Understand the needs of the accountant to be ethically and legally with all the stakeholders. The need for the accountant to work ethically and legally for all the stakeholders. Earlier we had a discussion. Stake means anyone who has any interest, internal within the company and external outside the company. We have to meet their interests. We need integrity. We need trust. We need professional, and we boost the professional impact on the society, and we have to work in the wider interest of the society. Really, we need to keep maintain the trust and the confidence. That's really accountant play a vital role in providing accurate and reliable financial information to stakeholders, including investors, creditors, regulators, and the public. We need to be look around the working ethically and legally help, to build the trust and the confidence in the integrity of the financial reporting. So we have to look around the stakeholders can rely on the information provided by. So accountant should be provide true and fair information. What information? So accountant should provide true and fair information, and we have to follow IAS 1, which is International Accounting Standard 1. According to, if we prepare the statement, those need to be contain the information, those are true and fair. Protection of the public interest. Public interest, like the transparency, true and fair information, and we work in the wider interest of the public with the various stakeholders, not just the few rich become a rich, so we have accountability, fairness in the financial reporting. Like, it's quite good to watch Enron, one of American company, have a biggest scandal, creative accounting. Yes, so how they manipulate accounts, and like in the simple word we can say cook the book. So we need to be increase the interest, which is lack of interest on the account, and with the passage of time, people have involved in a lot of frauds. We have to accountable accountant can be in term of the laws and the ethics, which is awarding bodies, professional code of ethics like IFA, like SEMA, like ACCA. These are all the professional body, and we have to look around their code of conduct as well, if you're a member of any of them. So upholding the professional standard, ethical and legal conduct is the cornerstone of the professional accounting standard. We have to look around the code of ethics. Accountant are the bound by the professional obligation. We need to promote, the ethical principle, maintain the integrity. What is meant by integrity is mean honesty. Comply with the laws like a money laundering regulation, like a data protection regulation, equality act. If you're recruiting employees, we have to provide the fair chances and the salary. Discrimination, not directly or indirectly discriminate people on the basis of race, religion. So other, protected characteristics. So those we need to be look around. Ethics and the legal, conduct is the cornerstone of the accountant, and the code of ethics really we need to promote. Okay, preventing the fraud and misconduct. So we have to in our organization internal control system need to be in place. Like, if you include the invoices, like, you have a purchase order, yes, you have the sale invoices. So it shouldn't be one person deal with everything. There should be a segregation of details. So different people deal with it to help, to protect it. misconduct, unethical practices in accounting. Accountant who work with the integrity of the legal requirement is less likely engaged with the fraudulent activity. So unethical behaviors that can to be in the stakeholder damage and the organization's reputation. So those we need to be look around, minimizing the legal and the reputational risk. So working ethically, so there is a subject separately I'll share with you. Working ethically, accountant can promote the value, the justice in the organization, sharing and promoting the good practice. Of course, tax planning is illegal. We can advise on those lines, but we need to be look around within the law, within the standard, the likelihood of the legal sanction, regulatory penalties like uh, fraud in a fraud is mean when you do intentionally giving the false information. When you're giving the correct information in the law, that's not a fraud. If you miss something, that is the error can be happen, so they're allowable. So lawsuits and the damages to organization. Ethic conduct enhance the credibility, trustworthiness of the accountant in the eyes of the stakeholders. Like we said, stake mean anyone who has any interest in the business is called stakeholders. Fostering the sustainable relationship. So we have to look around the relationship. The relationship with the various stakeholders, the crew, are the cornerstone for. It's an integral part of any business. Trust, integrity, mutual. So accountant prioritize the ethical consideration in the legal compliance and strong relationship with colleague and with the public, leading in the long term with the various stakeholders, promoting organization value and the culture. So we have to look around ethical and the legal conduct, contribute to the development of the positive organization cultures based on the values such as integrity, transparency, and accountability. We can look around the accountant who is exemplify values and inspire colleagues. That's really we need to be promote. Night like Enron and the Brilliant Construction Company recently 75 million shortfall in organization. So in the conclusion, we can say ethically legal, we have to work in the best interest of the stakeholders. We have to ethically correct, morally correct, and legally correct. That's really we need to be follow, and we can conclude that comply with their work account and contribute the credibility, integrity, and sustainability in the business and organization. So we can look around 3.1. We have a money laundering regulations. We have a and annual money laundering, and we have the one of the concerned person, the train and the annual monitoring, and we should get the membership of and we have to pay the certain fees. We have to do the training on the money laundering. It's a proceed crime act of the good is being held or someone else money showing in our own accounts. So proceed crime act is 22, which is money laundering as well. The legislation, it leads to 14-year imprisonment. If we're tipping off, not telling, that's leads to the 5 years, and we are unlimited fine. The money laundering, terrorist financing, transfer the fund information of payer, and the regulation we have money laundering in 2017 between is the anti money laundering legislation. We have a counter terrorism financing measure in the UK. It's implied the obligation of the various sector, including the financial institute, accountant, solicitor, and agent, high value dealers. We have to think about, we have to deal, conduct customer due diligence and the report of the suspicious transaction. That's all we need to be looking at. We have a financial conduct authorities regulation, FCA, which we have to follow. We have to tell, if it's the insurance, we have to clearly tell, like a couple of you heard about PPI. What is the PPI? Payment protection insurance is being misled. We have a national crime agencies, which we can suspicious report submitted to the reporting entities, investigate suspect cases of the money laundering. If we have domestic and international law enforcement agencies, which we can share that information to them. Okay, so we have a global money laundering regulation, financial action task force. We have FATF, which is the which is quite intergovernmental organization, set international standards which we can. AML we can look around. We have a CFT, all these are the legislation to protect and promote. We have a EU anti-money laundering directive which we can follow within the EU harmonized system. We have to look around, non-financial businesses and the profession designed to protect the organization and their credibility. We have, CFT control, conduct, uh, and they report, suspicious transactions that we need to. United Nations Convention on Money Laundering. We have, conventional again, the transport, transnational organized crime. So we have a bilateral and multilateral agreement between countries. Those we can look around, and that's, we need to be an accountant is can promote an accounting profession true and fair. So that's really we need to be look around. In conclusion, we can say AML, which is annual money laundering, the legislation which we have to. CFT is all, the control and suspicious transaction. If you don't follow Crime Proceed Act 2002, Money Laundering Act 2017, annual monitoring, money laundering. That's, really we need to be look around 2017 legislations as well. Then we have a 3.2. We can look around, explain the key legislation impact the accounting profession globally. UK and globally include, regulations. We have the financial reporting standard, like we discuss about IES. We have IS 16. We have a Company Act, 2006. Company is a legal entity, is artificial person. They have to work in the best interest of and directed duties and the secretaries, the board. So it should be, and the account should be submitted to the company house. And the Financial Services and Fund Market Act, we have a 2000. If we don't follow FCA, Financial Conduct Authority regulation, and auditors and accountants standard and the supervision of the firms. As we earlier mentioned, we have a money laundering, terrorist financing, AML, annual monitoring, which is 2017. We have a customer due diligence, that we need to be CDD, and we need to be look around the corporate governance. We have a lot of issues, like, a few years back, the Barclay Bank being paid £2 million bonus to the CEO of the Barclay, but when the Barclay Bank not earned the single penny. So it's a money shareholders, and we have to work in the best interest. We have an international financial reporting standard. We have an international accounting standard board. We have harmonized accounting, like, when we say revenue, it should be revenue means sales, turnover, all. So these should be recorded in accordingly. So we have a different, Osborne, Huxley Act, which is in United States, like after Enron and World Telecom, we have to make the tiers, the CEO of the company, not only we have executive, non-executive member, we have certification of the financial statement, and increasing we have a EU audit regulation and directive is being set the rules of the requirement being after these, the incident money laundering. And we have a lot of fraud due to the creative accounting that's been, these legislation being passed. The key purpose is the transparency. We have a lot of, bills. Three is the set of the international, banking regulation issued by the Basel Committee on the Banking Supervision Structure of the bank capital requirement, liquidity standard, risk management practices, regulation enhance the stability, resilience in the global banking system, mitigate of the risk. The risk assessment is quite crucial in the banking sector. These some of the key, the legislation impact, accounting principles or accounting profession. We have IFRS 16, International Financial Reporting Standard 16, which is about leases. So we can look around the leases. We have a IES 16, which is about property, plant, equipment, International Accounting Standard 16. We have a 17 as well. So with these, all the legislation, new laws, carry on standard to improve the confidence level in the market, in the accounting, finance, and the money market. So explain the importance of adhering the organization and the professional value and the code of practices. So we can look around the organization and professional value. We discuss about 5 professional code of conduct. We have to ensure the compliance and the legal requirement, uphold the reputation, integrity. Let's explore, how we can enhance it. So we have a ethical standard, which is we can set, the moral principle in, we have a good control system in place in the organization, compliance with the legal requirement. We have, the internal control that prevent, violation and regulation sanctions. And like, if you don't follow GDPR, it can be 2% of the turnover, it can be fine, it can be in millions. So we have to look around, it can be leads to the imprisonment. Maintain the public interest, the public, the really wider interest of the public account, and promote, that the trust of the public, ethical standard, accountability, professionalism, and essential for building and maintaining the client, investor, and regulator. So protecting the stakeholders' interest, which we said internal and external, and stake mean anyone who has any interest, like a bank interest, like HMRC interest, local public implies everyone interest, the suppliers, to protect, that's really we need to be look around to providing financial statement, true and fair financial and non-financial information, financial statement in line with the international accounting standard, and provide true and fair information. That's, quite crucial, really we need to promote. Risk management adheres to the code of practices, which we need to be regulation help, to mitigate the risk associated with the non-compliance of the legal liabilities. We have to look around the reputation, like a lot of companies, because the trust in the market, due to the Enron, due to the World Telecom. We have a number of other companies being like, the Carillion Construction Company. Professionalism and integrity, really we need to in the professional values, people trust, trust among the accounting profession, promote the collaboration, knowledge sharing, like blockchain, AI, these technologies can be used, so we can look around the ethical conduct, ethical standard. Hope so you can see, so we can look around promote to the integrity, compliance, and the legal requirement. We have to follow those legislation, like, we discuss about crime process. These legislation should be, and the people should be trained, maintain the public interest, build the confidence between the public, share the good practices, and cross the awarding bodies, and protecting the stakeholder interest, so there is a not the shareholder wealth maximization, the old theory. Now we need to look around the wider interest of the stakeholders interest. Risk management, we have a through internal control, compliance, liabilities, asset, and those representation and the revalue of the asset should be accordingly. That's really we need to be look around in the wider interest of the public. Professional integrity, really we need to be protected, that help, sustain in the long run. And the summary, really all we need to be look around the values and the code of conduct, the regulation. Always in our organization we have to set the values, those values not contradict with our mission values, and with their own rules, as well as the additional, the values and the code of conduct we can set. Guys, if you want to work and ethical and illegal, those we can look around. If we don't follow the activities, like, in informing the supervisor management system, we have to introduce the whistleblower, like a compliance procedure, or compliance department, internal audit, to make it strong policies in the organization, protecting autonomy and the safety of the, and the reporting and regulatory authorities. We have a clearly reporting and enforcement within the company. We have the whistleblowing, we have the suggestion box, we have an internal audit, we have internal compliance, checking the reference, checking each other's work, and promoting these. Seek the legal advice if we need to be, so we can hire the legal lawyers at the different, the organization, they can provide on the job. We have an ethical dilemma, seeking the guidance from the professional bodies. So guys, if you have the, if you're a member of IFA, you can call them, or if you are a member of ACCA, are you thinking about even your student, you can get advice on the ethical, the code of conduct. It should be like, if you're employed, you should have a staff handbooks, and where the code of conduct should be written. And ethical decision making is for where the best, tourism, which is mean, promoting an ethical implication action, and determine the most appropriate course of action. So we can look around the documentation and evidence gathering. So the like a accountant can get in the bank statement, invoice, to prepare somebody's accounts in the line with the legal requirement. and financial record should be provided true and fair, and seeking the support and the protection from HR or implies, assistant. So we need to be individual may seek, the support from the human resource department. We can implies assistant program, implies training program, protecting from the retaliations, individual reporting suspicious of unethical or illegal behaviors we should be, and the whistleblowing policies. If someone are involved in the money laundering, we do internally, and then we can report to the external authorities, investigation and resolution on the suspicious report. We need to be get the evidence and intervention policy, holding if the VAT fraud, the intra-company trading, consolidated statement, eliminating the profit between the company. That's all, the follow-up and monitoring system need to be in place, in our organization, increase the fairness. So in the conclusion, to look around the merit criteria, we can look around interest, self-review, ethical. So we need to be look around in the line with these, the reporting and accounting standard and the control system. If you want to work toward the distinction criteria, evaluate the role of the professional bodies. Professional bodies really enhance the transparency through the training, to involving with the stakeholders. Ultimately, this help, the wider interest of the public, establish ethical standard and the code of professional body, develop and maintain these standard. You have to do the CPDs, independency, safeguard, it's not mean that, the safe, like not 1% do thing. It need the segregation. You have a board of governance, you have a good corporate governance, enhance the compliance and the disciplinary procedures in the organization. Professional body have a mechanism to comply with the ethical standard and the code of conduct, investigate the complaint. If we have fines, suspension, implies can be accountable if they don't work in the best interest of the public and not follow the rules and regulation, and ethical and professional body maintain the integrity, credibility of the accounting profession and protect the interests of the various, and providing the guidance. These, so we have to look around the professionalism in the work, all in the line with the rules and the ethics. Promoting professional body promote continuous educating and training. So guys, if you want to attend the AAT network events, ACCA network, SEMA network, if you go on the open learn, it's good to do these courses on money laundering, ethical standards, whistleblowing. So these are quite good at taxing, digitalization. So these are, ultimately help, to promote advocating the professional body to interest in accounting profession, stakeholders engaging, policy makers and various organization and feedback, advocating for the policies and support, the professional integrity and reputation. That is very important. Enhance the public trust and the confidence, which is lack, due to that various scandals such as the Enron, which we mentioned, Carillion Construction Company, we have a BHS and various other company not sustained. We have to look around the professional bodies, reputation, credibility, accountant, confidence in clients and employers and the investors. So in the professional bodies play a critical role in ensuring the accountant work ethically, legally, establish enforcement, ethical standard, and provide, the guidance and the promoting continuous education and training professions, and enhance, public trust, and contribute maintain the integrity of the profession and the financial market. That's really we need to be look around. And these are some reference where if you want to look around, like ACCA, Institute of Chartered Accountant England, and Wales International Accounting Standard Board. And you've been, if you click these, you can read further as well. Anybody, any question? Anyone, any question? Okay, guys. So those are listening this recording, please join next lesson, which will go through assignment discussion. Thanks for attending.